Hello, you're watching Studio Ken. Make sure you don't miss any episode of Studio Ken by subscribing to the YouTube channel. To subscribe, search for Studio Ken on YouTube, click subscribe on the bottom right of your screen, and set a reminder. You can also watch Studio Ken on Diamond TV on Wednesday at 18:30 and on Saturday at 19 hours. Studio Ken, the home of Kennedy Gondwe on YouTube.
Action. Yep. Up. Up. Come on. Up. Easy.
I'm at the Lifestyle Gym, East Park Mall in Lusaka. And as you've just witnessed, I'm not very good at this weightlifting thing. In fact, I'm here to speak with someone who's very good at it. She makes it look easy, but lifting 180 kilos is not an easy task. This is Cherry Muchindu, and she's a woman in a sport that has been historically dominated by men. She's my guest on Studio Ken, and hers is a fascinating story.
Up. Come on. Up. Yep. Good. Okay.
Pirato nafuma kuna konde na leto mutende bakamba. You're watching Studio Ken. Then subscribe on free bakamba. If you're free mure shupa. Nangukute moburofa na kucheche mure rofa.
Cherry, good to have you on Studio Ken.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but to start with, there's a lot that you could have chosen in life, yet you spend so much time in the gym. Where does your weightlifting passion come from?
I'm someone who's always been curious about what the human body is capable of, and more so about what my own body is capable of. Because when you look at me, I'm not someone who you would think spends any time in the gym, or at least not as much time as I do in the gym. So for me, it's more about figuring out or discovering new things that I can do with my body, new strengths, new limits, new heights. Yeah, so I guess curiosity.
You push yourself to the limits indeed. What have you discovered about your body? What is it capable of doing? Is there a stop to it?
It's capable of doing the same things that a man's body can do when it comes to the gym, in the sense that I can train with a man, and in some instances I can train more than a man. In some instances I can't. So when it comes to the gym, I'm capable of holding my own when it comes to the gym. My body is capable of bouncing back after injury. It's capable of enduring through injury. Yeah.
Is lifting weights a pastime for you, or it's a full-time occupation?
It started off as a pastime, but it's become full-time for me.
How did it start?
I had always worked out. I think from my second year in university, I found a trainer who didn't handle me with kid gloves. He didn't look at me like, oh no, this is a woman, I'll give her the smallest set of dumbbells here, and we'll be doing this for the next 6 months. I had a trainer who would push me through and through and through and through, and from there, the interest developed. I did used to work out when I was younger as well, but I used to work out secretly because we had a gym at the back, in the backyard, and it's not something that my parents looked at as something a girl should be doing. So I'd kind of have to do it when no one was looking. My brother at the time was amused by it, I think, but the interest has always been there, I imagine.
You talk about your parents having thought that this is something that a girl shouldn't be doing, but you went ahead. How has it been easy for you to break these barriers? Because indeed, weightlifting is associated with men more than females.
Easy is the wrong word. It's not easy, but I am the kind of person who, once I set my mind to do something, I'm going to do it, or at least I'm going to try and do it. So, yeah.
What would you say is the favorite thing about weightlifting when it comes to you?
The weights. The weights. Figuring out how much weight I can put on a bar and how much I can move that bar. Figuring out how far I can go doing any specific movement. Yeah, it's for me. It's more about bending till I feel like I can break, but knowing that that point is there, but I can always get past it.
So, how much do you lift in a day, or what has been the heaviest weights that you've lifted?
The heaviest weights when it comes to the deadlift, there are people who say they've seen me lift 200 kgs when it comes to the deadlift. I am not entirely convinced. When it comes to the squat, I think 160. When it comes to the overhead, probably about 80 kg. Yeah, so it depends on the lift.
What is your response to people that say women shouldn't be involved in such a hyper-masculine activity?
What makes it hyper-masculine and why shouldn't we do it? That's my response.
And what do they say when you tell them that?
You should have children.
And what do you tell them?
Why? Why? There's no logical reason why I should have children before I lift a bar. There's no logical reason why, because you have testosterone and I have estrogen, I shouldn't try. I think things should be at least tried before they're debunked.
What kind of mindset is required for people like you to do the kind of work that you do in terms of lifting weights?
You need patience. You need a degree of obsession. You need consistency, and you need determination, because some days are harder than others. Some weeks are harder than others. When you reach a plateau, especially for someone who is a strength competitor, someone like me, when you feel like you're not progressing, it's easy to just say, you know what, guys, there's no point. Let me just stop, or let me take a break. Breaks are good, breaks are necessary, but you always need to come back. Your body, your central nervous system needs time to recover. Your mind needs time to recover. But if you have a goal, why stop because today was hard or this week was hard? What's the point of a goal?
And what kind of preparation then goes in for you to be able to reach that mental peak?
It's consistency. That's all you really need. That's all you really need. You need to ask yourself each day, how bad do you want it? How much do I want it? Who am I doing this for? When you come into the gym, if you're doing this for someone else, your journey in the gym, or your journey when it comes to fitness, will be very short-lived. You need to be genuine with yourself as to why you're doing this. That will also help you pick and choose the type of fitness journey or the type of fitness route that works for you.
And how about in terms of nutrition? How important is nutrition?
Nutrition, I'd say, it's probably about 70-80% of being fit or an entire fitness lifestyle. And then the active side is the 20-30%. Because you can push as much as you do, but if you're eating all the wrong things, or if your eating is inconsistent, or if you're eating anything and everything anytime, whatever time, then you won't see the progress that you genuinely want, which is why I always say, be genuine with yourself.
In your case, what kind of foods do you eat? Natural
Anything and everything. No, in my case, I try and eat foods that are as whole as possible. So foods that have gone the least amount of process. Obviously, it's not as easy. So I'm able to make some concessions, but I eat farm fresh meat. I eat lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. I hydrate as much as I can. I love pizza, let me say that. I love pizza. I love the fried chickens, I love that. So I try and find a balance between the whole foods and, the satisfactory food, so to say. Yeah.
What are the benefits of weightlifting? I mean, why put yourself through such punishment?
Your body gets stronger. First and foremost, your body gets stronger, your body looks stronger. your mind also gets stronger because you need to focus. You need to be sure about what you're doing. So it's not just a physical thing when you lift weights. Lifting weights can help your mood. It can help your, when done wrongly, it could put pressure on your joints. It could put pressure on your bones. When done correctly, it strengthens all of those things from your muscles to your joints. So there's lots of benefits.
So do you consider yourself as a role model for girls and women that may not really be doing this kind of work?
I don't know if role model is the right word or the right phrase, but I would like to think that there's someone who has seen what it is that I do, has seen where it is that I have come from, and maybe is inspired to push themselves to do a little bit more when it comes to the gym.
Pirato nafuma kuna konde na leto mutende bakamba. You're watching Studio Ken. Stay subscribe on free bakamba. If you're free mreshupa. Nangukute moburofa na kucheche mrerofa.
So Cherry, demonstrate to me, what are the do's and don'ts of weightlifting? For instance, when you're doing squats compared to when you're doing deadlift. Okay,
so the first thing, when you're doing any type of weight movement, you need to warm up. And then after you've warmed up, you want to have the bar. You can either have a high bar or a low bar. So that high bar, it's sitting right at the base of your neck. A low bar, it's kind of sitting, let's say on your traps, okay? Yep. So you have your elbows tucked underneath the bar and not too far back. You're just going to stand up. That's all you're doing, stand up. Get your feet close together, be more or less away from the rack. Feet underneath your hips or underneath your shoulders, depending on how mobile you are in the hips and in the ankles. Then all you're going to do is take a big breath to protect your spine. So you're going to brace, and then as you exhale, slowly begin to drop down, keeping your elbows underneath, and then come all the way back up. Maintaining the brace, your elbows stay underneath the bar. And then slowly walk back and re-rack.
Okay. And is there a relationship between one's height and the weights that they lift?
Height, not necessarily, but the shorter you are, it would seem like the less work you have to do, because there's, in a sense, less gravity, I guess, working against you. The taller you are, the more your body has to move to get a squat done. So that, I think, would be the only relation.
Is there any truth that lifting weights harms one's reproductive health?
Lifting weights when done badly can harm you in general. Can harm a male, can harm a female. So the most important thing is to be safe.
Is there a double standard, you think, with the way females are perceived in the sport compared to men?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, because strongman is a male-dominated sport. Men get a lot more attention than it comes to women. Even though women will put in just as much work in the gym, they have to sacrifice just as much, if not more, than a man. They have to deal with probably more pressure when it comes to family than a man. Because in something like strongman, you find a man, maybe he's married or he's in a committed relationship, the woman would probably be a lot more supportive than if it was a woman. Like, say in my case, if there's a woman in this particular sport, there are some men that don't necessarily understand. Again, ego comes in. It's a male-dominated sport, so I'm surrounded by men all the time. So sometimes there is that double standard, yeah.
What does your boyfriend make of you as a weightlifter?
I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by people that support me. They support my goals, support where I want to go, and they're open to what I do.
And how about having children? Is it something that crosses your mind, or for now it's just you concentrating on weightlifting?
Right now, I'm not thinking about children. I'd like to have a few titles under my belt before I commit to that. But I'm sure in the future, God willing, if it's something that God plans for me, then yeah, why not?
What titles are you targeting?
I'd like to be I'd like to place gold in the next in an Africa Strongman. So that's the Africa Strongman and also the Arnold Classic Africa.
You're going for the Africa Strongman. The title itself says a lot, and yet you are a female going for that title. Do you think such stereotypes ought to be changed?
Yeah, I don't think there are any really good stereotypes. What's the point of a stereotype in the first place? I think the more we talk positively about each other, the easier it would be for individuals and females to progress. Yeah.
There's this cultural fascination with women's bodies, and wrong as it is, I must emphasize, people tend to think that women's bodies are a public spectacle or property. Have there been any experiences where you feel you've been treated wrongly because of your physicality as a weightlifter?
What do you mean treated wrongly?
People looking at you and maybe passing comments, or people looking at you and admiring you and them being able to express that right in your face?
Yeah, I mean, that happens. I mean, I get catcalled in the gym, I get catcalled getting on a bus, I get catcalled going to buy milk. So women's bodies have always been objectified. I think men need to let go of their entitlement. Just because I may have hips or I may have thighs doesn't mean they belong to you. So just because I'm comfortable lifting weights doesn't mean you should come while I'm on the squat rack and maybe put your hand on my hip. It's not our body, it's mine. So yeah.
What is it that you think people might be surprised to know about weightlifting, something unique? Especially when it comes to women.
When it comes to women, you don't grow a penis from lifting weights.
What things are you proud of? I mean, something that you think you've done outside your career as a weightlifter.
Outside my career as a strongman or a strong woman hasn't been that long. So I think for me it would be too soon to say there's something that I have done that's outside the norm. The only thing that I can say is that I'm enjoying being committed to this sport. There's a lot of camaraderie, and there's a lot of, I'll say brotherhood, because again, I'm surrounded by men, but there's a lot of, it's like a family. The people that do strongman in Zambia, we're a small group. So they treat me like a sister, or they treat me like a brother. We have understood each other's boundaries, and we respect that. Obviously, I mean, there are days when we are all acting like complete idiots, but we all respect each other's boundaries. So yeah, I think that would be it.
What advice would you give a young female wanting to be a weightlifter?
Start. You have to start somewhere, whether it's picking up a weight you didn't pick up yesterday, and also believe in yourself. You can be your harshest critic, you can be your loudest cheerleader, but when you show up to the gym, show up. Don't go half-assed with anything. The person you're competing against is the person who was looking at you in the mirror yesterday. That's the only thing that should be important.
And what brings you satisfaction on an everyday basis? What day is it that you go home very happy after leaving the gym?
When I hit a new PR, when I have a new personal record on any lift, whether it's in terms of reps or in terms of weight, when I see myself progress in that way, when it comes to my own journey with the weights, that gives me more satisfaction. When I train smart while I have an injury, like right now I have an injury, and I'm able to push through while still being mindful about all the things that could still be happening.
And what is your personal best in the different categories that you exercise in?
I'll talk about the ones you've already talked about. So talk about the deadlift. My personal best would probably be 180 for 3 reps. The squats, the 160 for 5 reps. I think I might have actually gotten 180 for 1 rep. I can't exactly remember. The log press, 90 kg for 1 rep. The axle, 80 for 1 rep. Yeah, so it's a slow progression, but there is progression.
Cherry, thank you very much, and thank you for spending time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Pilato nafuma kuna konde na leto mutende bakamba. You're watching Studio Ken. Stay subscribe on free bakamba. If you're free mure shupa. Nangukuti mo burofa na kucheche mure rofa.